Good music, great music. This is show number 500 of hashtag GTV Breakfast. We've done, I can't even believe it, man. 100 weeks of this show. Yeah, we're loving it. My guests are seated. They are ready to express their opinions on the issues. And you know, in Ghana, we greet from the right to the left. If you go from left to right, you've slapped the person. A photomene, you've slapped the person. Yeah, so we go from right to left so that it's the inside of your palm greeting. So I'm going to introduce them to you in that fashion. So from the right to the left, as you see on your screen, media personality and artistic activist and culture creator and the creator of Moon Girls. She is Akusia Hansen. And sitting next to her is communication expert Na Ache Ni Ope. Ladies, Na and Akus.
Hi,
greetings.
Response.
What's up?
Hi, we did. We did. I mean, we are grateful.
Yes.
This morning, when getting here, I was like, wow. So there's a word that, translated as, okay, so division in equals, chempe. Today, 30th of June, we actually divided the year into two. And we are grateful. I mean, we can't overemphasize. We are very grateful for the gift of life. That we are alive. We are chempe pepe. We are hopeful that the next 6 months would be even better for us as individuals, as organizations, and Ghana.
Awesome. Great stuff. Half of the year. You're excited?
Yes, I'm excited. I didn't recognize it, but now half of the year, exactly.
Last day of the
it's
working
been
week.
tough,
It's
been tough, and we
we kept our heads up.
we did.
So my primary school is celebrating 60 years this year.
Okay.
And I'm celebrating 40 years since I left primary school.
Oh wow.
So I went for the launch yesterday. I went to school in Birmingham Complex. I'll give you the story of how I ended up there.
Okay.
So our family had been out of the country for 5 years. We were in China for like 5 years. We came back to Ghana.
I saw that your childhood photo on your page.
1980. So my father is looking for a school for his son, me and my big brother. So he goes to one of these fancy international schools, which I declined to name. And he says, I have 2 sons I want to place in your school. One is 10 years old, the other is 9 years old. Do you have any vacancies? The head teacher looked at my father and said, you are late, Mr. Day. My father said, excuse me, madam, why am I late? He says, here we book when the baby is in the womb.
Hey. No, right? Yeah, and it's, that's reality.
Oh, yes. He said, we put the name down of the baby in the womb. So you are in the womb, and we're expecting the baby to be born December 2023. Then we add 6 years. So in 6 years' time, that baby will be in class 1.
Yeah.
So we're enrolling you for the class of 2029.
Wow.
You are late.
Wow.
My father was furious. Yeah. And then he asked a couple of friends, where can I send my children? We used to live at the South Labadi Estate. So he was looking for a good school, public school. And they said, go to Birmingham. You've got great schools there. And I ended up in Birmingham Complex. Did not regret it. And I was so happy to go back yesterday to go and launched the 60th anniversary.
Nice.
I met some of my classmates from 83.
Oh, grown.
Wow.
We met the first head boy.
Wow.
The first head boy, 1969. First prefect of the school prefect, naval captain Soa, retired, and a whole bunch of other people there. So shout outs to Complex for 60 years of existence, me 40 years since I left primary school.
I see.
It's
been a while.
Yeah. You remember your primary school days?
Yes, I do. I mean, I also attended one of the schools. So it's a garrison school. I also attended garrison school. But mine is engineers. The one around next door.
Exactly.
Yes, that's where I attended. I left there. I don't want to mention the year. Because I'm mentioning I am.
You got a guy higher age, huh?
Yes. But I also attended one of the garrison schools.
Yes.
48 engineers basic school, and then from there I went to Nungwa Secondary School. Nungwa, I went to University of Cape Coast, then to University of Ghana. So I'm proud of all my schools. And then we also come to celebrate some when we get to 40. When I get to 40, I'll let us know.
Let us know. We'll celebrate. Any treasured primary school memories? Where did you go to primary school?
Yes, I did. I went to the international primary school. Continued in the same school, doing the A level, all of that, and great memories. I think for me it was a space for me to explore my theater. They allowed me to explore theater, my literature, my writing. They helped grow that. And of course, kids and their childhood memories are the sweetest because I don't know, it's couched in this life was not as hard. You didn't think about bills.
I know.
It was just
Yesterday I was telling a friend that, so when we said adulthood, like, so it's just to work, pay bills, like have headaches. That is what adulting is about. I really want to go
Let's
back
go back to private school.
Let's go back.
When mom will give you money, I mean, no headache, nothing.
No headache. You just know I'm going to mommy for money. That's all. You don't know where the money comes from.
That's what the adult is not adult. You must adult. Listen, happy 500th anniversary to us, 500th episode of this show, and we've got a big show for you today. So we'll end it with MJ the comedian. So there's some comedy there for looking for you. There's a conversation on disability. There's a conversation on Ghana-Japan relationship, the relations. Let me adore my only Japanese word, arigato. Yeah,
meaning?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
yes, yeah. And then we've got a conversation on, there's some interesting, that's the conversations we have. And your messages are on 055-556-1034. There's a 41st Martyrs' Day celebration, and Thelma will be handling that with you. But for now, we are doing headlines. First of all, what's on your mind this morning? I'll start with you.
Well, so mine, a very quick one. I think about 3 weeks ago, I may be mistaken. Residents in Teshin hit the streets to say that they are protesting against the bad nature of the road. It's been 3 weeks on. Drive through the constituency. I've just seen about something like 700 meters of road constructed, and that road, I mean, around the tree blow straight to the Century Roundabout, is now in very good shape. But that aside, work has halted in the constituency. Maybe they are a place I haven't been or I haven't seen, but just with the protests and the construction of just that 700-meter stretch of road, we haven't seen the construction progressing. The MC promised that in 6 weeks we should expect all the roads or a maximum stretch of road to be constructed. And so maybe we still have some 3 weeks more. They should make good their word. I mean, the rains and the road is frustrating. Let me keep it as simple as that.
Rains plus road is confusion.
It's frustrating.
That, right?
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Yeah,
all right.
frustrating.
So Teshi roads, we need some help. I mean, just yesterday, the tanker drivers called off their strike after they downed their tools figuratively and said they were not going to be cutting fuel products from the depots all around the country. This is 10,000 tanker and petroleum and LPG drivers we're talking about. They were complaining about the roads from their depots, from Tema, from Pune, from Takrady, from Kumasi, from Buipe. Condition of roads really terrible.
It's
so
awful.
2-3 days ago they said, no, we've had enough. We're not going to drive. So if it meant that if your fuel ran out in your filling station, you're going to be in trouble. So when I heard that news, I feel that. But then yesterday they announced that some action had taken place, and road construction products had been brought to certain areas, and so they were giving them the assurance that something's going to be done. You know, I just wonder why we always have to keep threatening people before action.
That's the language people understand in
power
this country.
doesn't concede anything without a fight, so you have to protest. More power to the people of Tesha. I used to live in that area, so we need the roads to be good. Because what's on your mind?
Oh, I think we are going to talk about it. So I don't know if I should jump too much into it. But
whatever you want to talk about.
Okay, sure. So I feel like this week has been a great discussion, cultural discussion on our social media about misogyny and sexism. And for me, 10 years ago, being on social media, this wasn't the type of conversation people were having. You know, people would just allow misogyny to slip by because people were used to it. And so for me today, just seeing the essays people are writing now and how people are pointing out, oh, this is misogynistic, this is sexist, and this is not the type of people we want to be anymore. For me, I want to say, like I always say, I want to give flowers. I'm giving flowers to Ghanaian feminists, Ghanaian feminists who have been doing this work, who've been insulted, who've been vilified and all of that. And when you talk so much, people act like they don't listen. But 10 years later, me seeing the reflection on social media says that people listened, even though they fought you, you helped bring a change. And for me, that's been wonderful, So that's all I'll say. I wanted to go into what misogyny is, what gender stereotyping is. And misogyny generally is, contempt for, hate and disrespect towards a specific gender, right, which is women generally, and Also under misogyny comes gender stereotyping, which is an expression of it. Gender stereotyping generally is a generalized view or preconception or about attributes or characteristics or roles that ought to be possessed by someone just because of their gender.
So women are supposed to do this?
Yes. So just because for instance, just because I have a vagina means I should know how to cook. It comes automatically with having a vagina. Just because...
My son doesn't have a vagina, but he cooks.
But he cooks, right? But the thing is... Exactly, right? And the thing is, cooking like this is basic. You should be able to, like a human being, you should be able to feed yourself, right? That should be a basic thing. You should be able to find.
And because you're a man, you shouldn't cry.
Because you're a man, you shouldn't
cry.
Because you're a man, you should be the one who should always be providing.
Paying bills.
But yeah, exactly. And all of these things are limiting to the freedom of a human being. All of these things do not allow a human being to live the full quality of life. Another example, which is what was trendy, men can sleep with so many people, but no one sees them as for the streets or they are sluts or whatever. It's allowed to be men. They'll say, oh, that's what men do. If I was the same woman that sleeps with 4 people, 5 people, that the man has slept with 5, 10, she's this, she's that. So it's like when you see these things, it's what we call double standards. Just because someone is this gender, they are allowed to, and this gender is not allowed to. And that portrays hate, that portrays contempt, and it's based on nothing. It's based on nothing, just because of how you came out of your mother's womb. It's based on nothing. So for me, this week has been a great conversation to see that Ghanaians are having this conversation. 10 years ago, I'll have a lot of people attacking me on my social media for saying the same things that now a lot of people are talking about on their Twitter. So I'm proud, and this is me giving flowers to Ghanaian feminists.
One time.
Yeah.
Quick question though. I have read I Am Not Yvonne Nelson. Have you read it yet?
I haven't yet, unfortunately, but everyone should read it. I feel like a lot of the conversation that's gone around people not also reading the text itself, so yeah, definitely read. I've seen excerpts of it. It's also definitely something I'm going to delve into. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, have you read it?
Yes, I've read portions of it, and then I was telling a friend also that it's somebody's, let's say, private matter, and decides, okay, let me publish it. There isn't the need for personal attacks on whether the author or any individual mentioned in the book. Read it, pick lessons to make your life better. I think that is paramount. Or, study the mistakes and know that, okay,
this is what to avoid.
This is what to avoid. And that is paramount, not to attack. Besides, all the steps Yvonne took and wrote about are in the past. She may not have the opportunity now to relive those past moments, and so the attacks are needless. Let us rather pick lessons from it. Whether you are a man or you are a woman, there are lessons even for mothers, for fathers, for everybody, for politicians who were also mentioned in there. So for me, lessons to be picked, and not necessarily to attack the personality of people and say that you were a woman and you could have kept the pregnancy, and you are a man and you feel no. For me, lessons that if this happens to me, what would be the wisest thing to do and not regret later. Simple as that.
All right. What are your thoughts? Have you read the book before your plenty commentary? I'd love to know. 055-556-1034. Have you listened to Sack's song? Hashtag try me. Have you?
Gotta talk about that.
What did you think about that? You heard that song?
Yes, I heard. I heard it.
Okay.
Yes.
So me, I'm from YFM. So we are deep into hip hop. We are deep into rap. From that point of view, right? What Sarkodie did is battle rap. And this is how the best rappers is their training grounds. Battle rap is made up of 3 main things. It has to be insults, it has to be wordplay, and it has to be boasting, right? And when you do it, you are supposed to cut down the person. That's what battle rap is.
And you should expect a response.
You should expect that response too, and it's always vicious. Like they pull on what makes it a punch is they pull on what the society finds painful. So if society is misogynistic, you will use a misogynistic to
rap.
Yes, to punch. If society, if for instance with white rappers trying to enter rap, right, black rappers, if they are doing battle rap, will make you look like, what's this white boy doing here? Because the general view is rap is for us, not for you. So they'll use what punches, right? So therefore, as an art form, I thought that it was beautiful. The beats, the lyrics, the game, the wordplay, beautiful. However, right, Yvonne Nelson, from the excerpts I've read and from the discussions about the book, it felt like we were bringing a gun into what was literally just a paper fight. You know, like I would have preferred.
So who was bringing the gun here?
Sarkodie, right? Sarkodie. There's so many people who attack him all the time. Right, and he rarely responds, right, and never comes up with a battle rap. This thing really for the more he would do it in his commercial music, but never. But in this case, in a case where you didn't even need that at all, he brought it, right. But I like to think that it's because he's using what is the popular culture medium of punching or whatever, and I would like to hope that he really does not believe those things. So therefore, like I said, you pick on what society will find the punch, painful, right? Yeah. Painful. There's a lot of stereotyping about actresses, especially even Eva Nelson, and how they live their lives, and the book she talks about the struggles and all of that, right? So if he plays on those things that for the streets, it says some things, you should come and tell.
For the streets mean?
For the streets means basically you're like a warrior slat. We pass you on. All these men have also slept with you. Come and tell us how many men you've slept with. And it's like
that was in the song.
Oh yeah, and in the song, then there was a line that let us tell. I don't want to read the exact words.
And when you give it to me today, you give it to Kwame,
you give it to other people. Yes, it's hard to say. Cuban link. Let me read the exact words. So I don't. You can't pick and choose what to say. Please behave. You got to tell the world every man you've slept with. You can't just play the victim and paint a picture like you were just looking for love from all the penises you sucked, he said. And yes, this was yes. And the thing is, we all have sexual relationships, and even yourselves have sexual relationships, not necessarily always looking for love, but it's a gender stereotyping. When a man goes around, he has a wife, he goes around sleeping with his wife's sister, his wife's neighbors, his this is that. We don't say he's for the streets. But when a woman also does the same thing, who asks for her, they come and tell us how many people he slept with, it suddenly reduces your value. So that's the misogyny, the societal misogyny he's playing on to use, right? And I'm just saying that, like I said earlier, he brought guns to something that was actually not a fight at all. If you read the excerpt of what he said, that's not how he saw it, though. That's not how he saw it. And at the end of the song, he actually said he's now going to read the book. Oh, exactly. So he had even already read it. And if you read from her excerpts, I'm sure because of the conversation and who he is, and because he was mentioned, us making that buzz, he was hearing the social buzz as opposed to the book. But if we read the book, you could see this is someone who was very hurt. Even if that's the thing, even if I'm a slut, even a slut can get hurt. Even a slut needs to be treated with dignity, and she was going through an abortion. You spend 2-3 weeks bleeding, all of that, and the person who puts it in you, if the person is not there calling or checking on you, it makes you feel, away. And that was the hurt she was expressing. So for me, I felt like of course he will feel anger because of also the social buzz, but if you did take your time and see what made her hurt. An example, this rapper, J. Cole, had a little beef with this other rapper, a woman rapper called No Name. And everyone should actually just listen to it. The title of the rap was Snow on the Bluff. So he responded to her in Snow on the Bluff, and it was a very grown, mature, I acknowledge these things. I do not like the tone in which you say it, but I acknowledge these things, and I see my faults, and I will also do better. Sarkodie is a giant in our industry. We can't take that away from him. He's one of our biggest musical exports, right? He's now grown. He has a family. He has children, right? And for me, I would have loved to see, even though he picked what I said is the punch, the pop culture thing, what will work, right? Because you see the way people are lauding him. I'd have loved to see also his growth and maturity and deep thinking. I do believe he has that, and I would have liked to see how he would bring that into pop culture, because he's the only one that can make that stuff cool. He's the one that can make it cool. If it's other people, the conscious rappers, people will but if it's Sark who suddenly brings that consciousness to, all of a sudden, all these men who think it's cool to, but Sark, you change. So I don't think it's too late. For me, if this is out, I would like to see him in even 2 years, 3 years, come back to it with a reflective rap piece over jazz rap. That's what I want to hear somebody do.
Some ideas there for sucking.
You see, Cap, so you would love Akosia for this. Hey, please, I'm defend to Akosia.
Yes.
Who am I on this matter?
No, you take your comment. I wasn't asking for your view.
No, I mean, Akosia said it. On this matter, I'm done. I make my point about picking lessons and moving on. And the rest, defer to Akosia. She's done a good job.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
Nothing more to say.
Awesome. All right.
Nothing
Hey, what's your
more.
view? Would love to know. 055-556-1034. The SAC natives, feel free to send us a message. I don't know what Yvonne's tribe is called. You have Bim Nation. You have the Shatta movement.
Nelsonians.
No. I'm going to ask her. I'm going to send her a message and ask her what she calls her tribe. You guys.
YNs.
The YNs. I don't know. I'll send her a message and find out. What do you make of the conversation? The whole Yvonne Nelson SAC book, rap, issues that are in the news. Would love to hear from you. Keep it clean, all right? 055-556-1034. Messages coming in on my console. Good morning, Kaf. I'm Baba Ali, contributing from Accra. I don't have any beef with Yvonne Nelson telling her story. Nevertheless, I have a serious issue with she blaming Sarkodia for her abortion. She could have talked about the abortion without blaming anyone for it. She can't be wishing for healing from her pain and be causing others pain. I read sociology and had something little to do with gender studies. I think we should concentrate on empowering women with our little knowledge in gender studies rather than running away from our culturally constructed responsibilities like cooking is for women. So this is Baba Ali expressing his view. Baba, have you read the book? Let me know. All right. More messages. 055-556-1034. Hey, behave. I'm your master. Behave. Good morning, BFS. This topic is really interesting, and I love how the lady in red, yes, she's not the one Christy Berg was singing about. Her name is Akosia Hansen.
Lady in red.
She's talking about I like the way she's talking about double standards. Yeah. I think we should all be responsible for ourselves, and both men and women are different in their own special way. Yes, indeed. 754, this one came in from Fred. Calf, I read the book in 2 days. And I bet you people are only talking about the excerpts. There are a lot of lessons to learn in the memoir. They should read the book. Fred, thank you. I read the book in as rapidly, even more rapidly than you, and I saw a lot of lessons in it. But tell me what you learned from the book. Okay, this is for those who have read the book. Okay, not your excerpts. Those who've read the book. So those are the messages. 055-556-1034. Keep them coming in. This is GTV Breakfast. I saw an opinion that I want to read out in full. It's very short, but it's by a great writer of our time. You remember Woes of a Patriot back then? No. This is Kwesi Yanka, Professor Kwesi Yanka. So he has a piece in today's graphic called Occasional Patriot, and it's on sanitary pads.
Wow.
The title, Patriot, yes. The title is Sanitary Pads, Bisa Abrewa. I've been mulling of late over contemporary issues that would have drawn the fury of parents in those days. Discussing sanitary pads in the public domain? How dare you? The topic itself would not sneak its way into your mouth and test your verbal discretion. Other parts of the brain would rise to censure it ahead of temptations. These days, sanitary pads on radios and TVs. Hey! Our mother, Ama Ata Edu, would probably have interjected, and here comes my very potholed fancy. Defying translation. Sorry, my fancy brothers, I tried, and sisters. That sacred thing is being taxed by a greedy tax collector. As in all such matters, only one side of the story is told. When did that insensitivity begin? And why tax something above the means of poor school children, etc.? The fuller story of imported something against made in Ghana something is never told. I even dread to repeat the word here. One past female minister helped us all out and avoided loud public discussions. She advocated and implemented free supplies of the something to schoolgirls of puberty age. That quietened all the waters. If the free senior high school can afford it, let's follow suit and arrest the unspeakable in that public domain. Simply add it to the government bill in rural schools. Oh, but I'm probably wrong. Let's avoid the entire topic of taxes on that sacred something. There must be an old lady in every household in Ghana. Let's simply ask Abrewa, how did you handle the monthly female cycle those days? What did you wear in those days to avoid public spillage? And how did you wear it? That red cloth called something something. Were special taxes applicable? Where are the ways be to hold firmly the something? Dear Ghana, while we wait for the Ghana Revenue Authority, let's avoid the loud discussion on sanitary pads. Simply Bisa Abrewa. That's Kwesi Yanka, occasional patriot. In today's graphic, what do you make of this conversation?
It's interesting.
Well,
yes.
so I'm sure that he's happy that previously we couldn't talk about menstruation and sanitary pads, but now we are able to talk about it.
Exactly.
In as much as he's saying that the discussion should end, we should not even put taxes on it, he is happy that both men and women are becoming more vocal, and not vocal for ourselves, but vocal for the vulnerable girl in very rural places. Kaf, I was telling you the other time that my visit to Botswana, when you go to their schools, each young adolescent girl has a cubicle. So if your parents cannot afford, even whilst you are at home, in order for you not to miss school for the 20 days in a term, come to school, and there are sanitary pads, in your cubicle that you could always access under teacher's supervision. And so if it's not about even taking the taxes off the sanitary pads, we could employ that in rural areas, in schools, when the girls come to, they should be able to access it. The Bisabri, what they are talking about is what, that, I don't want to mention the name. But
what did you mean? I get it. Is it the colloquial go to the old woman in the family for wisdom?
Yes, so go and ask the old lady how they were managing this without even coming into the media domain to make all the purported noise we are actually making. But I see, times are different.
Yes.
You understand what I mean?
Yes,
times
agreed.
In their time, my mom will tell you that the time she started menstruation is later than now.
Exactly.
Then they were starting menstruation around 15, 16, teens. And then by that time, they've had enough education. By now,
9,
10.
Yeah.
And they've started. And so by the time you are even getting ready to engage that young girl, the MENAC has already set in. And so it's a beautiful piece. I think we should take a picture of the GTV admin and post it on your GTV page. Just a picture of that. I trust your admin to do that.
We will. The admin will do it. The admin
is watching. The admin is popular. Hey.
You love the admin?
Who is the admin? We want to know.
That's a state secret. Nobody can know that.
Does the admin work with, BNI or something?
The admin knows everything.
Kathy, you are the admin.
Yes.
I put it to you. I put it to you.
You're right.
Check and see what is happening.
The way the glasses are positioned, I think it's him.
And so sometimes when he puts caption, I try to read the caption with your voice.
With his voice, and it fits, right?
I'm not that big. Promise of an honor.
To be faithful and loyal.
To tell you that I'm not that big.
Anyway.
I'm not. Honestly, I'm not. If I were, you would know.
I see.
Yes. But I've sworn an oath to secrecy.
Because all Ghanaians are looking for the admin.
Yes, even we are looking for him.
Wow. Director General is also looking for the admin.
Yes. He loves his work, but he's still looking for him.
We should go around GTV. Let's go around and
find the admin.
Yes, we'll find the admin.
What's your thought? Thanks for your contribution. Now, Akosia.
Yeah, I think, like she said, times are different now. We have to raise awareness. This is ridiculous. The fact that there's taxes on sanitary pads. I think recently some people actually stormed into Parliament as a protest forum. I heard it's also on BBC, and this is where it needs to go, because it's shameful, that we are taxing pads, and in this time, this is where we can't just go to the old woman. If you just go to the old woman, we will hear her wisdom, and probably her wisdom will be, look at your times. How can you force your government to move? In your times, what do you do? In our times, we have Nan sitting here who brought it up. She's brought it up several times on this show, and it's very necessary. So I definitely agree with going to find the wisdom of things. I don't know that waist beads actually held.
Oh, it holds. And so maybe how it is fixed. Okay.
And depending on how you fix it.
Yes,
I wear a lot too. I wear over 12, 13. I can wear 30 at once.
Heavy?
No. You get used to it.
Heavy.
You get used to it.
30 should be. You do 2 or 3.
Now, how many beads do you wear?
I'm wearing 3.
I can tell you how many beads I wear.
No, I'm wearing 3.
How many beads do you wear?
0. Yeah. All right. So we need to just be up to date with the times, and the taxes really must go.
Oh yes.
You know what really freaks me out? So I think we have 40 female members of parliament in Ghana, and it's equally split. The NPP has 20, the NDC have 20.
Okay.
So that, in effect, is a female caucus in parliament. It beats my imagination why the female caucus in parliament hasn't made a combined effort to speak against this? Because we would assume that if they don't use it, they know people who use it, their children use it.
Indeed.
Why can't the 40 female members of parliament come together and form a bloc and form and galvanize some action, some bipartisan action? Now,
well,
am I making sense?
Yeah, you are. And so for me, even the series of demonstrations that I have seen on the streets on taxes on sanitary parts, I wonder why, if you can't come together, you assume that, well, 40, we are not really a force to reckon with. Looking at the numbers in parliament, admittedly, you could even join in the series of demonstration. You could even, you know,
as a block.
These petitions that come from private members into parliament, it should come, I mean, generated from within, from the female caucus in parliament. We haven't seen much of them. But you see, I always say that sometimes when people have elevation beyond a certain situation, it takes less than, 24 hours to forget. And so maybe in a time past, I couldn't afford. Today, because I can afford, I will not, maybe speak about it as passionately as then when I couldn't afford. And so not to say that let us spare them, but to actually say, sending them flowers as a reminder that, see, vulnerable adolescent girls are suffering. They shouldn't look at us, those of us poly-seated here, we can afford. So they should keep taxing sanitary parts for us who still afford. But they should consider the least fortunate girl. That's why I say the least fortunate girl should be able to afford. And they should put in a word for us. We want to see the 40 of them on the streets. We'll join them in a demonstration against,
because they are the lawmakers.
They are.
And if the law can change to favor the non-taxation of sanitary pads, they should be playing a role.
But the good news is that, I mean, Speaker Bagman has taken the burden upon himself to say that in the next budget reading, he wouldn't expect that taxes on sanitary pads should pass in Parliament. And so, for me, that is my highlight, that in the next budget reading, once it says, I don't want this to come to Parliament, we should see some action come.
Okay.
Okay, you're watching GTV Breakfast. My name is Kafui Day. I'm here with Na and Akusia, and we are looking at what's happening in the news. Your messages are coming in thick and fast. Let me read a couple of them, and then we will continue with the program. Okay, so Joseph Oliver's Ayite. Good morning, Kaf. When the bill was passed on taxation of sanitary pads, female MPs voted in favor. Thank you. Good morning to you all. Especially my lady in red. She's called Akosia. I like the way she expresses herself. Anyway, King Sak is the most decorated rapper in Ghana. We don't dispute that. He really made us proud. We Sak natives don't support abortion. And you think it was planned by Yvonne and her friend Sak was innocent about the whole drama. Well, this is you are writing a new book. Let's deal with the issues that are there. You guys are talking about Yvonne. You say, please be honest. You think she caused all of this? She should have known her relationship with OBD was a secret. You see, even she wrote about her past with him in her book. All that was what took this from the classroom to the street. You think she should have known and thought about what was happening before sharing it all. We don't support OBD in insulting Nelson, but this should serve as a lesson. And you think that she could have had OBD in her books and avoiding all those comments in the book. All right?
That's the patriarchy right there.
Okay.
That this should serve as a lesson. And what is not finished is this should serve as a lesson to women who dare to, anytime this how to punish, who would dare to speak up this way or challenge a man this way or out a man in this way. All I'll say is writing a book like that, a memoir, the thing you usually do is if you are going to, because your stories are not always just your stories. Exactly. If you have a sexual relationship with someone, it's you and that person's story. So what you do is to let the person know ahead, or that this is going to come, or let them get their permission to, because it's also their story.
And we don't know whether
we don't know that at all. But I just wanted to highlight that point. This should serve as a lesson. That's what patriarchy does. Okay. Yeah, it's to punish you. With this rap song, we are telling all you women, if you dare,
Okay. More messages on 0555561034. You're all talking about Sak and Yvonne and the book and the music. So here, good morning, Kaf. I always ask why Sak can't attack musicians with his punches. I read the book. I don't see any fault with Yvonne. And so I and my manager have decided to reply Sak on this new song. You are going from try me to try men. Hey, brother, everybody's jumping on this trend. Oh. we wait to hear your song, brother. Okay, more messages coming in. Please do not call the WhatsApp number. It is not a calling number. It's a WhatsApp number. Please, I cannot answer your call on air. All right, more messages. Kath, I want to hear the ladies' thoughts on Asin North elections. You shall hear. You shall hear. You shall hear pretty soon. Congratulations, Kath. Your panel went to good schools and they are efficient in the act of public speaking. From Alaji Dawuda, Medina Estate. They are very. Shout out your school. What's your school, Akusha?
Faith Montessori School.
Good school.
48 engineers.
Good school. Good school. Complex primary. Good school.
And the University of Ghana.
Good school.
University of Cape.
Good schools. Good schools. Good schools. Good schools. Another school is coming. Okoro Development School, good school. All right. Couldn't Yvonne have talked about this book without necessarily mentioning SAC's name if she really meant to advise the book? Yes, the book has some, but if she meant to advise the public, yes, the book has some lessons that we the youth can learn, but she need not mention SAC's name. Well, you cannot tell a creator what to do and what not to do. Reminds me of this movie. Go and get this movie if you love music or you just love a great drama. Amadeus. This is the story of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. He was a child prodigy, a great genius in classical music. He composed a piece, and then when he played it out, an elder musician, court composer, Salieri, said, I like it, but there are too many notes. You know what Mozart said? Yeah. Which notes should I cut out? And of course, that ended the conversation. You cannot tell an artist what they can paint or not paint. Yeah. You can't tell a writer what they can write or not write. Right. You just have to read the book and make your own decisions, okay? It's a free world. All right? More messages coming in 055-556-1034. Now, this is a misogynist alert coming here. Kath, anytime you parade such beautiful and intelligent ladies around, patronizing you. Let's know their marital status. Yeah. So we are emboldened more to reach them. What has that got to do with the conversation, my brother? Whether they are married, divorced, widowed, single, searching, what's that got to do with the conversation? Has it got to do with the conversation?
Because obviously they have to see who we are associated with.
Okay.
You know, yeah.
All right. Okay.
But it doesn't inform the conversation.
It doesn't inform the conversation. You know.
All right. Okay. So more messages 055-556-1034. I'm loving it. Let's see what's happening here. Good morning, Kath. Emmanuel here. The lady in pink. I think it's kind of a red or.
Today is red. It's red. This is red.
She says when a man sleeps with a wife, sister, they sleep together. You can't blame the man. Blame both of them. Okay. She was just making an example that if a man is married and then goes and sleeps outside, he's not looked with as much scorn as if a woman did it. Yeah. That was your point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Without at the risk of paraphrasing you. More messages, and we do a little bit of some small politics there, but with a twist. Okay. Somebody is asking me, how are you? I'm fine.
Good.
Please, have you paid your TV license? Please pay your TV license so we can give you good content. And good morning, BFS. There are double standards in this world. This is Kwame Boateng. Women only complain about the double standards that don't benefit them. You are women here. Can you respond to this?
It is never true. See, it is never true. Once, you see, I've come to understand one thing, that often in a part of the world, when a woman learns to speak for herself, immediately she's accused of insubordination. She's accused of knowing her rights too much. She's like,
neglecting the men.
You understand what I mean?
Yes.
See, everybody has the right to speak for themselves.
Yes.
When they are not happy with anything, no matter your gender.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't matter whether I'm Kaf or I'm not. If something hurts me, I should be able to speak for myself.
Shouldn't be gagged.
Not at all. And so it's not about double standards at all. I think as women, we are learning to speak for ourselves, and it ends there.
And you have to also understand that we are all interconnected, right? If one thing is not good for one of us, it's not good for all of us. So if women are complaining, it's also you that suffers. When we talked about the double standards, we also did mention that when you tell boys, Bema and Su,
men don't cry.
Men don't cry. Do you know when we say that? We are saying that for men. We're also saying that for women, because women, we are the ones who have to deal with repressed emotions, which will come out in different ways, and the man himself would also feel that. So whenever we are complaining about social issues, it's like we have to understand we are all interconnected.
Male and female,
don't make it look like, because it's just your matter. No, if the person who is disabled is also making noise about the fact that there's not enough access for them to go to buildings, it also affects you. we are all
Because if you're a
interconnected.
business, and they would have to come and do business
Exactly,
with you.
If we cut the trees, and the trees are only the environmentalists are complaining, we have to understand that it also affects us. Once the last tree goes, the last human will go.
Indeed.
We have to understand this interconnectedness.
Yes, and those of you who are saying men don't cry, what are the tear ducts in our eyes for? Me, I use them, not as often as I should, but actually, okay. Although I don't think my children have seen me cry. That would demoralize them. Daddy's crying. What would I do? Kafri, what happened to your hair? It went off, but it's coming back.
What happened to your hair?
Father's Day, I cut it.
Okay.
But it was for Father's Day, but it's coming back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. That's Cornelius from Kumasi. More messages. Please, if you have the right to speak for yourself, like you saying nicely, please have a second thought about everything you bring, because everything has results, says Ohima. Yes, of course, there are always consequences. There are always unintended consequences. So, yeah, of course. Kaf, let the beautiful ladies pay their TV license now.
We'll send our evidence to the admin to publish.
Fantastic. Do you have the shortcode?
Yes.
I can give it to you if you want.
Oh, I do.
You have the shortcode already?
Yeah, I do.
Akusha, do you have it?
No, please.
It's star 447 star 333 hash.
Star 447 star 333 hash. Okay.
That's it.
36.
It's 36 CDs for one set.
36 CDs.
60 CDs for 2 sets or more.
Okay.
For the year.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. They are patriotic citizens. Fred, do not worry. They will pay.
Thank you.
So those are the messages for now. Keep them coming in on sanitary pads, on the whole Yvonne Nelson sack conversation. These are quite topical issues. Another one. I feel Sack could have replied without being misogynistic and the rest. His reply creates a ripple effect for the society. 1, lots of girls will find it difficult to come out when they find themselves in such situations. 2, guys will not respect our ladies and will not take responsibility for their mistakes, etc. So I think he should have thought of it well. But Yvonne too, please take her phone away from her. She's making defending her difficult. We beg her. If you pray for rain, be ready for mud. It comes. That's Tonyeli. Tonyeli giving us their, I can't say him or her because our names, they are unisex. Yes. Thank you very much.
The wisdom of our people.
Yeah, you see now. No gender issues.
No gender issues there. It'd be now where we try to bring down.
Good morning. This is Agahowa. You said this happened to my mom in '98 when my dad was pushing her to abort me, but she refused. But now see, I'm a graduate from the university. And you think what? Yvonne is to be blamed for such a wicked world? That's your view, Agahowa. I'm sure she would think differently. Tonyeli says, I'm a him. Tonyeli, I hear you. Okay, more messages. In as much as I agree that Yvonne has the right to write whatever her story is, she should understand that the implication of her book on the lives of other people. My only problem is insults and virtue signaling she's using when criticized. You cannot allege another woman is sleeping with a married woman because you are being called out over things you wrote and accuse same person of not supporting women empowerment. She signaled that there was going to be a storm coming. I sat down with her in January of this year, and we spoke about a whole range of issues. We even spoke about sax music, which was out, the collabo he did with Bob Marley. Stir It Up.
Okay.
And she spoke about love. She spoke about a big thing that was coming.
I saw that interview.
Yes, and so that interview we're going to show it today across our social media platforms, 1 p.m., 1,300 hours. Since I went to Burma Camp, let me talk a minute. 1,300 hours on the dot. Check out our socials, GTV Ghana, across social media, YouTube, Facebook. It's going to show. GTV admin says I should tell you that 1 p.m., make a date for that. Okay, couple more questions, and then, I think I can slow down on the messages for now and switch to, something sad that happened exactly 5 years ago. 29th June, the passing of our former Vice President, Kwesi Emisa Arthur, 29th of June, 2018. So this year is the 5th anniversary. Yesterday was the 5th anniversary. And his wife, former Second Lady of the Republic, spoke to Joy News and yesterday, and she said she often asked her husband to step down from his position, but on second thought, she recognized the importance of his voice within the government and the potential vacuum that his resignation would create. Quote, many times, but after that I said he should resign. I realized that if he goes out, who will say the kinds of things he says? So he should be there even if he's not listened to, say it and make a difference. I believe that if you are the only person who is doing the right thing in a place, not just politics, anywhere, and you're the only person, don't be discouraged. Stay there, do the right thing, say the right thing, make a difference, and it will impact. Even if it has impact on one person, you have done your job.
Yeah.
And she believed, according to the family, she believed that Arthur's presence in the government was necessary to advocate for the right causes and ensure the country was on the right track. If you remember, 5 years ago, he passed away very suddenly on the 29th of June 2018. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Your thoughts on that?
Well, so I watched an interview of him where he said that so he didn't go into politics. Politics found him.
Okay.
And I think he did well at his position until he went to be with the Lord. In his nature as a calm person, I always say that you need not, I mean, simply because you're a politician, be a firebrand, be giddy, you know, and then have, when you open your mouth to talk, see, he's not alive, but his words live. And nobody can associate any insult having come out of his mouth to anybody, not an opponent, nobody. And so I'll stand by my previous point that for whatever happens to an individual, everybody's life, there are lessons to be drawn from it. That politicians, old and young, even people who are contemplating entering into politics should, I mean, we all can't be the Emisata kind of politicians, but if not for anything at all, it should be politics devoid of insult. It must be, I mean, intellectual, what you bring onto the table. You see, then again, I have never also heard in all these corruption cases that some politicians are mentioned, that you hear that his name is I mean, associated with any corrupt act. I'm not saying he's a saint, but I'm saying that to a larger extent, he tried to demonstrate that I'm into politics to serve people and not about a personal interest. And that, I mean, those are lessons that we are picking from him. And may his gentle soul rest in peace.
What's the power of spouses on their other halves? Doesn't matter whether it's a man or a woman. Spouses on advice and stuff like that.
I think they are your biggest support because they are the ones that are going to hold you when you go through all the trauma. They are the ones that are going to have to deal with your bad sides. And they are the ones that would also have to help to, in spite of the bad sides, push in your good sides and make you go back out that door, go back to that office and do your job. So your spouses are really, really, really important. And that's why they say when you're going these things, you also have to speak to them because it's also their lives that are going to be changed completely.
One day you are Mrs., next day you are second lady.
Yes, exactly. And it's also the risk of, I may also lose my spouse to this. You know, I may lose you to this politics. So they also have to prepare. But I love what she said about the fact that even if you're the only voice in the room, right, you should still speak up. Me, I always say it on this show, I don't believe in politicians. I have a heavy distrust of politics. I have a heavy distrust of all of these things. And so for me, it's like, but yet it's politics that runs our governance. It's through politics that we have our running of our country. So for me, it's a blessing to find that there was someone who could be that way, and if he lived that way, is a sign that other people can still be that way. It will be difficult. It's like you're the only person in a corrupt machine, so you yourself will be fought. You yourself will be broken down. You yourself will do juju on you, will do things on you. But the fact is, you standing your ground in spite of, even though you get the blows, even though you whatever, you standing your ground is the movement in itself. Is the space you've created to make someone else see that, oh, I can also be this way.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies. I've enjoyed the conversations. 2 topics, but it was great. 3 actually. But hey, we spoke what's in the system and what people are thinking about, and we are grateful for that. Just a quick run through the headlines. Daily Graphic leads with Agenda 111 progresses steadily. 84 contracts awarded, 54 start. Asin North Kumawu revealed EC's efficiency, says Jean Mensah, the EC boss, grading herself. Wonderful. Partner Parliament to fight press freedom violations, says the Speaker, urging the media. Etiwa East is a haven of peace and inspiring progress. Chinese Navy ship docks at Tema. Okay. And petroleum gas tankers suspend their strike. The Ghanaian Times also leading with 88 hospital projects on course, all to be completed at the end of 2024, says Mr. Kojo Opon Nkrumah. We will hold him to that. It's there, right there. Osajifo power barge dismantled without approval, says Deputy Energy Minister. IPP stop power generation for national grid, question mark. And Jechi Kwesin seeks stay of proceedings at High Court. Back page of Times, Ghana and Guinea clash for survival in Total Energy's CAF Under-23 Championships, and a 5-year project to provide sustainable water and sanitation services launched. Republic says MPP in pain as blame game trails Asin North defeat. Court jails 6 Western Togoland Group members. And Bagwin waits to Jechi Kwesin case, insists he's not being treated fairly. And finally, the Informer, MPP NDC deepened democracy as Akufo-Addo consoles party. Mahama thumbs Asin North. I need your support to restore economy, says the president. And inculcate high moral standards in congregation. GPCC charges churches. Ladies, the ladies who were in the house, Akosua Hansen, media personality, artistic activist and culture creator. If Moon Girls, look for it and enjoy it. And now I trade Neil Pei, who is a communication expert. Yes.
So maybe you give me just a minute.
Yes.
Just a
Quick
minute to say,
out.
not shout out. And so my co-guest of Hajia Hamdatu Ibrahim, former acting chairperson of the CPP, sent me some Salah gifts. I want to say thank you so much to Hajia. And the human resource manager of PPA, you had a very big Salah party for us. And so, yes, grateful. Hi, Akosia!
It was your birthday over the weekend.
Oh my God!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Happy birthday to you. Make a wish first. Make a wish before you blow. Make a wish. Make 2 wishes. Make 4 wishes. 10. 100. Now blow. That's all. The next song is for you. The next song is for you.
It's for me.
We have a conversation on 41st Martyrs Day, Japan-Ghana relations, and we've also got MJ the comedian. Yes. All right, my name is Kafri Day. Happy 500th anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Eat the cake.
Thank you.
Music for you, Uncle. Music for you. All right. P Square.
Thank you.
Enjoy.